Hello and welcome to a Swede's thoughts about Philippine football. Yeah, last week it was international break. I totally missed that one. From my last video, I thought it was another league round, but yeah, I forgot to check. It's international football, so there was no Filipino football league playing, but there was some international football. The Philippines played in the King's Cup in Thailand. We can talk a little bit about that at first here. They first played Thailand, lost 3-1. They should be proud of themselves. It was a great performance. From what I can see, I didn't see the whole game, I've seen the highlights. Lovely goal by Bjørn Kristensen. And it was just at the end of the game there they couldn't hold it together. I think they were one man short also. They had a red card, if I saw things correctly. So I think a 3-1 loss against Thailand is not that bad. I think there was a good progress showing. But then they played Tajikistan for the third place in the King's Cup. And yeah, that was a good performance all in all, I think. Again, I think all three goals were actually quite good. But the first goal by Holtman, that was a really nice hard shot with a curve. It was. I don't think we can blame the goalkeeper there, even though he sort of saved it. But it was he got a nice curve on the ball. It's very hard for the goalkeeper, and it ended up underneath him, hit the leg and back in goal. But a lovely goal by Holtman. And the third goal by Bailey was the leading up to it was really nice football by Philippines, I think. So a nice win finally for the Philippine national team. They had gone like, what was it, 10-11 games without a win, something like that. So yeah, good job Philippines. But there was also some women football this weekend. That was the PFF Women's Cup. We saw Beach Hut beat Asuri by 5-1, and then also we saw Stallion Laguna against Manila Digger, and Manila Digger won 2-1. I did not see any of the games. Sorry, I've been trying to find highlights. I can only find the whole matches, and sorry, I don't have time to watch the whole games. I will not talk so much more about that. I'm thinking, since it was a break here, I'm gonna talk about something else. I've been thinking a lot here how Philippines should continue with their league. No, it's been struggling all the way since the 2017 season with getting teams with a consistency and also a second division. I think that's quite important because even the bottom teams need to have something to fight for. That's why there is the promotion relegation, which I think is very important for football. Of the bigger leagues in the world that I know, is just the MLS who don't have, and I don't really get it. Coming from Europe, we're so used to the promotion relegation, so I think for me that's a very important part. So that's why I've been thinking, how should they do this? If I were in the PFL, this is what I wanted to do. You need to sit down and have a long-term plan. You cannot just go season to season, like, oh, how should we do this season? And like, when should this season start? All of that. You need to have a fixed, like, the season start around this date, at least the month, so the teams know when they should be prepared to have a team ready to start. I know it's hard when you have the difficulty that is in Philippines with the maybe a team cannot continue because of financial problem, but if you have a still plan, you need to have a backup plan then. If a team drops out, will you continue with less teams? That's one option. Is there another team that can step up to put in? A little bit like they did now. They put in the development team. Stuff like that. You need to have a stability in how the league, how the season is. As it been now, it's okay. I'm not 100% sure, but what I have sort of figured out is, since the start of the PFL in 2017, there have been almost different start date every season, for different reasons. I know that the PFL was sort of folded 2008. Was that 2018 or 19? But then they come back because the Philippines Premier League did not work out. And then of course we had the big Corona thing that happened, but that's like special circumstances. It's then things will happen. Then you need to change. But then you should have just gone back to this is how you do. And I thought they would do that when they came back there in 2022. I think that's how they should have the league. Also, like the thing they're doing now. I think they started a little late though. They should have started in August, at least for me. I think that you should need to sit down and say, this is our season. Like, we start August, we finish in May. That should sort of be the season. Maybe you can start a pre-season in late July. I think in Philippines maybe it's good to start in late August anyway, like, or mid-August. You try to finish in late April or May. Maybe you can finish the league a little bit early if you want to have the cup coming after. Then also they need to support the local amateur leagues. They need to show. I know there's a thing going on with Grassroots. You talk a lot about in the Philippines. Support the Grassroots. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when I read all the articles I have read about the Grassroots and all the things I've seen, it's mostly kids football. And that's good, of course. That's where you start. But I think Grassroots should also include the amateur leagues. Because if you just you support the kids, and in Philippines I know it's sort of the big thing with the college football. But what about the kids who don't make it into the college teams? Who want to continue playing? Who don't want to be in college maybe? Or where should they play? They need to play in an amateur league then. They need to have the team that they grew up with also know that I can play in this team when I'm older. That was a big thing when I was young. Even though the first team when I started playing as a kid, 7-year-old, I started at the same club that my father was playing in the senior team, and they were a lower league side in Sweden. I don't know where there was. Division 4 in Sweden, I think, was the highest my father said they were. But I think around the time I remember, they were like in Division 7. It was the bottom. But still, that's where I played. And you go and you still watch the senior play, and you get this connection to a club that you want to play for. So that's why I think the PFF, they should try to get all the locals, the regional FAs, to start up local leagues. Just amateur leagues, and they can then eventually put this into a league pyramid. And there already are some good existing lower league leagues in the Philippines. You have the Weekend Football League. It's been going on since, 2009? Something like that. And the Zamboanga Football League looks also interesting. Looks very, for an amateur league, very professional, very well organized league. So why not incorporate these into the larger league system, league pyramid, and also get all the other FAs to start. At least have a league with, I would say, okay, not lower than 6 teams, but preferably around 8 to 10 teams in each league. And then, of course, they can have, if you have a lot of teams, you can have leagues under that as well. And then, of course, the next big thing, they need to start up the PFL 2. Of course, there was rumors last year, or they said that there will be a PFL 2. I hope there are still plans of doing it. There's rumors. I've heard that at least Garelli is having tryouts. And also had Montet said that they are gonna have it. So hopefully the PFL 2 will start next year maybe. But you need to have a second division. So the best way, I think, to have a PFL 2 in the Philippines is to divide it into regions. So you can have teams from all over Philippines, but they don't have to travel as much. So I would suggest that you have at least 3 PFL 2s with Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, where you can have divided maybe into 4 or 6, depending on how many teams you can get in on this. Of course, you need the teams, but why not at least in the start, if you don't get enough teams for each region, the PFL teams, put in their reserve teams, the youth teams in this system. But of course, then they should be prevented from getting promoted, like they have like in the Spain divisions, and there's a lot of other leagues in the world that have this, where you have the reserve teams playing in the lower tier, and I think that's also can help to get the younger players good experience. So how I would have done this if I was in the PFF in charge of making a league here. First off, we can start off in the top, the PFL. As things are now, I think it would be best to have 8 teams in the league, because it's not so competitive yet. 10 teams works as it have now, I think, but I think the best would actually have been to have 8 teams. They should play each other 3 or 4 times, but you can have the same as you have now. I think that's a good way to do it. With the top 4 gets into a final round, where they have a semi-final and then a final, and you crown the winner. What I've read, other people have said that the best season of the PFL was the 2017 season, and that's the only season that had this playoff until now. I would suggest that the team at the bottom in the 8th, or like they do now the 10th, if they have 10 teams instead, the team at the bottom gets directly relegated. The second bottom team will go to a playoff. And then if you have like I said, the 3 PFL 2s, Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao, and you can have the winners of each league, they also go to the playoff, and then they play in a group with 4, with the team that ended up second to last in the PFL, and they play each other 2 times, and the top 2 teams in the group gets promoted to the PFL. That's at least what I would have done. I think that's a good way to do it. Of course, in those regions, if they are also like 8 to 10 teams, they also have... I would suggest then that the bottom 2 in those divisions get relegated. If we build up the pyramid with the regional leagues, if ever, maybe not directly, but eventually. And then you can have I made the list here. I just asked ChatGPT to give me all the FAs in the Philippines. I'm not sure if they're all correct, but you sort of get the point anyway. And they are divided there into underneath each big region. And then you will of course have there the winners of those each leagues will get into a playoff to get promoted against the other teams. There's many different ways to do it. You can have the closest FAs make a group there, so they get to play each other, and you will have two teams eventually that gets promoted. That is my thoughts about making a good football pyramid in the Philippines. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Am I talking nonsense? Am I incoherent? Maybe. Like I said, what do you think? Leave a comment down below. Also, please subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Also, you can check out my other channel. I don't know. I will try to put the link up here. Maybe I'm just pointing at nothing. But my other channel, NDK Gaming, where I game. A lot of retro games and Football Manager and other stuff. And there should also be down below a link to my Twitch channel. My gaming Twitch channel. So yeah, please follow me there as well. But now I have been talking a lot. My mouth is dry. I need to stop. So yeah, thank you all for watching. See you again next week with a new round of Filipino Football League. The matches are these matches. Some exciting matches to look forward to. So, see you again next week, and we talk a little bit about them. Bye!